Today's theme, Securing National Development, will be highlighted from different disciplines and perspectives. A total of 3 perspectives have been identified. We will now move to the first session of the day, National Development, an Education and Youth Perspective. In this session, a mood class will be depicted to highlight national development from the youth perspective. Allow me to introduce Ms. Nicole Maku as a teacher, Alexandria, Candace, Erwin, Jonathan, Camilla, Jamela, Jamila, and Tekia as the students.
Today I have the privilege to address a very important topic, that of the role of education and youth in securing national development. According to our statistics, St. Martin has more than 12,000 children and youth between the ages of 0 and 24 years, which accounts for approximately a third of our population. We all believe that youth should play a role in developing St. Martin. However, I'm asking myself, do we see our youth as assets or liabilities? What is our vision for the youth? What role are we willing to play in ensuring that our youth are well equipped to be the leaders, helpers, and protectors of tomorrow? I would like to share with you 3 essential processes that I believe are needed to activate the youth and enable them to reach their maximum potential. These are based on the very inspiring theory of the late Dr. Peter Benson on positive youth development. First, we need to value our youth enough to discover their inner being. Ask questions such as what gives you joy, what gives you energy, what fills you up. This process of self-awareness will aid in finding the youth's unique talents and abilities that should ultimately contribute to building our country. Second, a very important process is having the right support system. Building authentic relationships with key persons such as parents, teachers, coaches, or neighbors that can nourish their unique talents and abilities. This also highlights the importance of volunteerism and mentorship. Our youth need positive role models, persons that see the value in them, recognize their potentials, and are willing to structurally invest in them. The last process is providing our youth with opportunities to further develop and showcase their talents and abilities. This will give them a sense of purpose, belonging, and interconnectedness that is much needed to serve our society in a constructive way and further develop St. Martin. This is my opinion. Now let's hear from the youth. Can you all name a few for me? Edwin.
Education.
That's correct.
Transportation.
Transportation.
Medical care.
Medical care. Infrastructure. So, we're on the same page.
Yeah, but teacher, you don't know that government ain't doing what it's supposed to do.
So,
2.
sorry?
You know government ain't doing what it's supposed to do.
2. 2 that.
Who else agrees with the Kia? Well, I guess that's everybody. But you know what? There was the first question in our survey goes about how persons rate the level of national development of St. Martin. But first, let me give you some general information on the survey. 260 persons did the survey. There were 163 persons, young persons, your age, between 60 and 24 years old. And as you can see, the number of males was 110 and females, again in the majority, 150. So let's look at the level of national development. First one, very poor is 5%. Poor, 39%. And as you can see, the majority still thinks that the level of national development of St. Martin is average to good. Let me have a look first. Edwin, what do you think that youth can do in securing national development?
Teacher, I agree that we as used to do more, but our generation is too lazy. Some don't want to work.
That's true. You know, that might be true, but we have to look also at the fact that some people want to work, but it's very difficult to get a job nowadays. So let's look.
Can anybody tell me what is the rate of youth unemployment on St. Martin?
40%.
40%, that's a bit too high. 30. Jonathan, 30%? You close. It's actually around 27%. And you know, there are other countries in the Caribbean, where this rate is much higher. So basically, what is very important, I'm going to take a look again at the results of our survey. That's the participation of youth in economic activities. So let's have a look. When we look at the level of participation by youth, 10% says it's very poor, 39% says it's poor. But then when we look, we see 33 fair, 15 good, and 3 good. And like always, we have some missing values. So when we look at these numbers, what do you think? Do you think that the persons rate the level of participation as good, or do you think we have to improve more?
We have to improve.
We have to improve more, right? But, you know, what is very important, like we mentioned before, government should do this and government should create more jobs. That's true. But at the other hand, we can never forget our own responsibility. And each and every one of us has an important part to play in this process.
I believe the youth needs more assistance so that they don't get engaged in crimes such as selling of drugs or robbery. But I believe the emphasis should be placed on creating jobs for the youth and helping them maintain it.
And trying to create more jobs for the youth too.
Create more jobs. It has so much people coming from foreign taking all our jobs. When you come in a St. Martin establishment, you don't even hear a St. Martin accent no more.
Hold on. I don't think nobody's stealing our jobs. Firstly, there are not enough locals here to fill the jobs, and plus, some locals don't even want to work in certain fields.
Do you think that our St. Martin youth is picky where it comes to jobs?
I think so, teacher.
Yes?
Some want all the good and nice stuff, but don't want to work for it.
Okay.
I ain't working at no KFC. I got too much pride. Ain't no way you gonna catch me working at no KFC, no Burger King, and no McDonald's.
Yeah, you don't want that chicken over there. That's right.
I'm gonna find a better job.
Oh my gosh.
I agree. Some of us just want something better. We have certain aspirations, you know.
So let me understand you. If you need a job to pay your bills, you wouldn't work at KFC?
Honey, no. I ain't working no KFC, no McDonald's, no
But
Burger
what about the
King.
chicken?
I think that young people should try harder. We all have to start from the bottom and work our way up.
Yes, I agree with you, Candace. And something we don't have to forget, all of us has aspirations, but we also have responsibilities. All of you living by mommy and daddy now, so it's easy to talk, you know, you don't have to worry about the bills. But when you're living on your own and you have your bills to pay, trust me, you will get a KFC job. You know, this really brings me to a discussion that I had a couple of weeks ago with a couple of colleagues about the Convention on the Rights of the Child. Everybody's familiar with that?
Yeah,
Yes? Okay, it mentions that we have basic human rights, for example, the right to education, but it also means that we have responsibilities. You understand? So we even have the compulsory education law in St. Martin that enables all children to get that education. It doesn't matter if the parents can pay for it or if they don't have the legal papers. They still can go to school. But that means that the youth have to do their part and do their best.
Teacher, I know you're right? But what about the quality of education?
Quality, that's a good question. Quality of education. We had a question about that in the survey. So I would say, let's take a look at the results. As you all know, education is very important when it comes to preparing persons for the workforce, right? So we want to look at the effectiveness of our educational system. And as you can see, we have 7% that says it's very poor, 20% says it's poor, 44 says it's fair, 24 says it's good, and even 3 find it's very good. So basically, I think that the persons that did the survey, majority of them were youth, actually rates the education system on St. Martin as effective.
I think our education system should be reconstructed. The emphasis shouldn't be only placed on academics, but on other abilities. A student shouldn't be branded because they're not academically inclined.
I fully agree with you, because we have to remember that everybody has different abilities. Some are very good in school with learning the different subjects, but we know that we have some students also that can sing very well or can be very well at sports, and I do believe that in school we have to really foster those talents as well.
Yeah, because there are children that have practical education and they're able to own their own businesses.
Definitely, that is true. Jamila.
Teacher, I know you said that we need to focus on what the youth can do, but we don't have a lot of options when it comes to tertiary education. A lot of us want to study on St. Martin but can't, so we're forced to go abroad to further our studies.
Yeah, who would like to study on St. Martin? Let me see hands. Okay. So we still want to stay close, at home by our families and have a good education. But let's see at how the persons rate the options for tertiary education on St. Martin. 20% says they strongly disagree that there are enough options. 31 disagrees, so that's half already, right? 30% is indifferent, 14 agree, and 4 strongly agrees. I do believe that it is very important to have more accredited institutions on St. Martin to afford persons to be able to upgrade themselves, because not everybody can pay to go abroad.
And the majority don't come back because the salary is either less or they don't even get a job, like when they're in the States or in Holland.
I think students should value the fact that they got study financing and come back to develop this country.
What about the student that's still abroad? They can also contribute to Martin by representing it.
That is true. I do think that that's very important. So if I understand well, you all believe that it is very important for the national development that persons come back to St. Martin after finalizing their studies, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But how else can the youth help to develop St. Martin? What else can you all contribute with?
I guess by excelling in school and other areas such as sports and arts. Not only getting an average grade, but also to perform to the best of their abilities in everything we do.
Students should not drop out of school. They should stay in school, and they should not worry about other students who want them to fit in, and the peer pressure, and also with problems at home.
But if they drop out, there are other possibilities too, such as GD and NEPA, so they can get back up and achieve their dreams.
Yes, but such youth experience problems. We as the youth need to be more accepting of them and stand up for those who are being bullied.
Let's also bring more awareness on youth violence. A lot of bad things are happening, like fights in school, smoking, and selling of drugs. And want to buy a pack of weed or something like that, they'll be saying.
We can start We can start projects in secondary schools to promote peace and work towards a common goal.
I like that idea. Erin, you sign in. I like that idea. You know why? Because I think that we have to take up our power and actually do more for ourselves. So I think that's a great idea. After class, we should have discussions to see how we can actually implement some of these ideas. Okay? Let me see. We talked about coming back to St. Martin. We talked about getting a job at KFC if necessary. So, Jonathan, what else do you think that a youth can do?
I think that youths could bring more ideas and effective ways by using the latest technologies.
Okay, because as I can see, everybody with a phone, so that's an excellent idea.
But teacher, we could also be using social media to get the important messages across. But you know, sometimes the older people think that they only have a lot of dangers with using technology, but we need technology to keep up with this day and age because the world is moving on a fast pace.
Yes.
Miss Nicole, I think St. Martin needs more local entrepreneurs. I find that the youth need assistance in helping them create their own businesses so that when they start up these businesses, they can contribute to the economy, such as paying taxes and helping create jobs. So,
yeah, very good. That's a good contribution. I didn't hear from Jamila.
We can also volunteer more. There are many initiatives taken by the youth to contribute to St. Martin.
Yeah. Or also like going to church, which half I don't go, or doing sports, we can also be contributing.
We can also take better care of our environment, try to keep our neighborhood clean and also our beaches for the tourists.
Dude, not only for the tourists, but like for ourselves as well, you know. As a matter of fact, I think that we need to make sure that we stay healthy and happy. By doing that, we can also be contributing to St. Martin because they are advertising that we are the friendly island and we need to continue with that statement.
Yep. Okay, thanks. Thank you so much for your input. You know, I believe that we discussed the part of education and we can all conclude that education shouldn't only focus on the academics, but also on the different talents and abilities in order to enable the youth to be able to make a positive impact for St. Martin, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so here we come now with our assignment for today. I hope everybody has it. And I would like to ask Alexandria. Remember we talked about the 5 C's on youth development. Can you mention what it stands for?
Yes, the 5 C's. Competence, confidence, connection, character, and compassion.
Very good.
Big word.
So, as you all can see, the 5 C's all interrelated. In order to be contributing citizens, we mentioned that we have to have competencies, we have to be confident in what we know, we have to be able to connect with people, we have to have character, and we need to be compassionate, right? So, I would like to give the first person a chance. And remember, we start our sentence with, as youth, we need. So, competence, who wants to go first? Jamila.
Well, I found the following competencies. As youth, we need to have general knowledge. We can get this by going to school. We also need to be skilled in applying what we learn. We need social, communication, and leadership skills to interact in a manner that is conducive to the goals that we want to achieve.
Wow.
So here is where education and learning comes in. But if I understand you well, you mean to say that there are other traits that persons need, other competencies that persons need in order to apply what they've learned and also to encourage and mobilize other persons, right? Okay, thank you, Jamila. Let me see who's next.
Not me.
Not you? I'll speak to you after class, Erwin. Confidence. I need a very confident person to do this one. Tekia.
As youth, we need to value ourselves and believe in our own abilities. This is important because our confidence will allow us to continue to improve ourselves because we know that we are worthy and we have good things to offer to others or society.
Okay, very good. You see you can do it? How does the part of Jamila ties in with yours? How are they connected?
The more we know, or the more we can do, it will totally increase our confidence.
Okay, kort maar krachtig. Who can add to this?
Me.
Candace?
If you see that persons invest in you like in school, you will feel like you matter to someone. When you excel or get a good grade, you will feel more secure. It will increase your self-esteem.
That is true. Nice. Thank you for the addition, Candace. Next, see, we had competence, confidence, connection. Who wants to do connection?
I had connection.
Okay.
Wow, Miss Confidence.
Basically, we all need social interaction in order to thrive. As youth, we need to foster meaningful relationships with our parents, peers, and other family members. This is important because it would allow us to learn from others and get the guidance we need. Being connected to others also increase our sense of responsibilities and dependence. It would also enable us to learn to be independent in areas where it is needed.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Alexandra. So proper guidance and support, we all need that, right? Yeah. Connection, character, Candace. Character, please.
As youth, we need to develop a good character, have morals and standards for ourselves and others. Some important traits are being friendly, flexible, honest, creative, punctual, and trustworthy.
Okay, thank you, Candace. The last one is compassion. Who wants to do compassion, Jamila?
As youth, we need to be more compassionate by looking beyond of what will benefit ourselves. We should always seek opportunities to bless someone else. We don't only need to be compassionate, but we also need persons to be compassionate and caring towards us. As youth, sometimes we go through difficulties, insecurities, and we need our surroundings to acknowledge this. Some youth, when they went astray, need a second chance to better themselves.
Yes, like all of us. We all need a second chance, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes more than 2 chances. Okay, so to conclude our class for today, we come on a very important part, that of contribution. I want to leave you all with a final statement. I think that if I look at my class, I'm very proud of you all very talented. Yes? Yes.
Thanks, Miss.
Very talented, very intelligent. That's why I'm saying this. By educating, nurturing, and empowering the youth, we can expect to have a generation that is engaged, constructive, and productive. Thank you.
They say we are the future, but do we believe that? They say we are the future, but do we believe that? Do we have what it takes to carry our country? Not only carrying it, but lifting it up beyond expectations, making St. Martin the gem that it truly is. The best place in the Caribbean to live and to visit.
We account for approximately a third of our population. We believe that we can and should play a role in developing our St. Martin. We are assets in the process. Don't just see us as liabilities. And if you do, help us to turn those liabilities into assets. We are willing to play the role in ensuring that we become the well-equipped leaders, helpers, and protectors of tomorrow.
Don't allow us to succumb under the weight of unlovingness, hardship, unrealistic expectations, unfulfilled dreams, and greed, but invest in quality education, youth mental health care, sports, arts, and other services so that we can become competent persons. Believe in us and nurture our unique abilities and talents so we can become the confident persons we were created to be. Build meaningful relationships with us so we can understand the importance of positive interactions and that we may build a sense of community and connection that is needed to build our country. Show us how to be respectful and instill in us a sense of morality and integrity so that we can become persons of character. Care for our well-being so that we are able to be caring and compassionate towards others.
Include us in decision-making processes and afford us opportunities because we, as young citizens, have what it takes to make powerful contributions.